Good afternoon, podcast listeners everywhere. Welcome to After the Bell, a Stunt Brothers production. I'm Martin Stubel.
And I'm Roy Hunt, and we share your pain, having taught a combined 70 years.
70 years.
I know, wow. So get out your marking, organize your supplies, or just pour yourself a coffee.
I think I need something stronger.
That's okay. And listen, engage, and interact with After the Bell, a podcast for you, the hardworking, dedicated teacher who wants free lesson plans, free advice, and a free meal.
Oh, I always show up for a free meal.
Okay, it's July 20th. We're getting close to those warm dog day.
I think this is what they mean when they say dog days.
Afternoon, dog days.
Dog day afternoon. That was a film, wasn't it?
That was a film.
Like a plot to blow up something. Was that the one with the Goodyear blimp was going over the stadium? That's what I'm picturing the poster for that. I don't know. Listeners, let us know. I just picture that.
Yes.
But I don't think I've actually ever seen that movie.
Yes. And so being July 20th, I'm giving you a little heads up.
Okay.
Because in 7 days, it's my birthday.
Wow.
And so I'm expecting,
Okay. I better put my mind to it.
But at least text me and say happy birthday.
Boy, we're gonna be in the studio on your birthday. It's the 27th, right?
Yes.
So we'll be here in the studio.
Oh, I don't know if I can work that day.
Well, we can all sing happy birthday for you. Okay. Are you gonna? I can't work now. Okay, I can't do next week.
So, what is your number 4?
We're now at number 4, and I've been thinking it's summertime, and by now I hope people have severed their memory of the work here. It takes a while. Right? It takes so long to finally go, this is what relax feels like. Wow. And you discover that in yourself. And Severed, we did an episode called Severance. And it's because I love the show.
Oh, I really enjoyed
the
the
Apple
series
TV
too.
show. Is just fantastic. And it's about the idea, can you sever work from your home life and your family life? And in the end, you can't, nor should you completely, but it's good to practice it a bit. So we did an episode called Severance, and that was episode 11. It was one of our first ones, right? And it was our first one where I really felt we kind of went off on a different angle.
Yep.
Right? It wasn't totally to
do with education. It wasn't as scripted.
Yeah.
And it wasn't.
It was part of our growth. Our own, right? Severance, our own, ourselves, right? And I just thought it was a lot of fun. It's actually one we did not do in the box. We severed ourselves from this location where we record most of the time, and it was in my kitchen.
In your kitchen.
Right?
Yeah.
And that was episode 11. So everyone, we hope you're practicing a little severance and that you enjoy a rebroadcast of Season 11. Wow. Episode 11, Severance.
Severance, yes.
Well, Mr. Hunt, here we are. It's would you believe it, episode 11.
Episode number 11. We're not in our usual place where we lock ourselves in the box for 3 hours.
No, we're not. We're actually in my kitchen.
We're in your kitchen.
Right, on this beautiful, beautiful day. We're trying something different. We don't have the studio today, so we thought we'd try to do a recording in-house, so to speak, and we'll see if the sound quality is any different, but it's a good experiment for us, and we get to look out and watch the birds, who are very happy on this cold, -4 day, I think. Well,
yes.
For those of you in the rest of Canada, that's not cold.
Yes, the rest of Canada is suffering. It's way colder. Yeah. And in fact, the southern states right now, they have snow in Florida.
I know.
There are snowball fights in Houston. And
it's a topsy world.
It is very strange right now.
It is. But look at the birds. They're happy. And, we have a couple friends who just joined us.
Yes.
They're our crow friends.
They're your crow friends, yes.
They have me well trained. And every morning they see me at the kitchen window and they go, ah. They know to go to the railing and they watch me toddle off to the cupboard and get them some peanuts. And
there you go.
Their day is made. And we have a few names for them. When they first came a few years ago, this is probably the second or third generation who have now come in. But we had Cheryl.
Crow.
Yeah. And then we had Russell.
Crow.
And then we ran out of crow names that were our last name crows. So we got onto the Beatles, which I love. So we had Cartney, we called him, and Lennon. And now we have Ringo. And Ringo has brought one of their offspring from last year sometimes. And we call that crow Zach, which is Ringo Starr's son, Zach Starkey, who actually has been a drummer for The Who and Oasis in the past as well.
I didn't know that.
That's
Well, I know you know a lot about the Beatles.
I do, and that could be a whole podcast that people don't want to hear right now.
Yes.
I listened to a few of those.
But we have a lot of crows around here, and not far from North Vancouver in Burnaby, we actually have a murder in Burnaby. Over 10,000 crows.
That's amazing.
That are housed there at night.
And it's amazing in the summer. We see them heading off from North Van over the water to Burnaby, and it's just, as you say, thousands upon thousands. So just cool to have that as part of your environment, right?
Yes.
And I think I've learned to appreciate crows. In the past, I found them a little annoying, right? But they're such an intelligent creature that I've really learned to like them a lot.
There you go.
And
fantastic.
You may think that's all I do now, right?
Yes.
The poor old guy, he's getting old, he's at home, and he's watching the birds all day.
Right. Well, there are no more zucchinis in the garden, so you have to do something else, I guess.
So I am getting ready for this coming spring, right? Getting the garden ready, and I'm always busy with my writing, working on the podcast. So in many ways, I think I'm busier than ever. That's the funny thing about retirement. And I find that when my wife comes home, who's still teaching, I have to control the giddiness that I have because I'm doing all these passion projects and all these things I've been waiting my whole life to do. And I can get a little giddy. And I have to just suck it up and just not really show that I'm jumping up and down all day, right? Going, hoo-hoo.
Doing something completely different.
Living the dream, right?
Yes,
but it's been fantastic. And you're still TOCing?
I'm still TOCing.
Yes, nice.
The last few weeks I've been called back to the school that I retired from. I enjoy that. So I walk in the door and the staff give me a cheer and they go, "Oh, Roy's back."
The rock star, right?
And then the kids, they're very excited to see me. There's a big cheer. So I feel a little bit like a rock star.
This is why they keep coming back for reunion tours, right?
Yes. But my audience is much smaller, but
they're equally enthusiastic, though. I'm sure they are.
Yes, they are equally enthusiastic, and they fill my heart.
Nice.
When
for sure.
Yeah.
So, and the experiences continue to be good for you?
It continues to be good. I've been doing things as an itinerant teacher, so I've been teaching science.
Nice.
One lesson, 5 times in the day, and so the same lesson 5 times, and the last one was the best.
And the kids for the first lesson said, "No, it wasn't so good. What's going on?"
So
you had 5 times to get it worked out.
Yes.
That's kind of the pleasure of that. But it's also very challenging to be an itinerant teacher, right? And that could be a whole episode, I think, to talk about, especially when you have a cart and you have to go from class to class, and it's not the easiest thing to do.
It's not the easiest thing to do. You got to get up, you got to move, and you don't want to be late because the teacher who's waiting for you has, we call it knit time or non-instructional teaching time. That's their time to catch up on paperwork and do prep. And so they're standing at the door waiting for you to get in. And as soon as you walk in, they fly out. So,
and I think it's neat that you're getting a chance to get a glimpse of so many different facets of teaching. I mean, you had the classroom experience and you did many different grades in that experience, but now you get to see the itinerant teacher, see the kindergarten teacher, have a day to be a band teacher, right? And that's just must be very refreshing to get a chance to see all those different parts.
It is to see the different views, the different lenses that people have for their teaching.
Absolutely. And, you do that, but you keep coming back here. And whether it's here in my kitchen watching the birds or in the studio, we keep having this podcast to work on, and it's really going well. We're really getting a lot of listeners now, and it's exciting. And, you must really like it, right? I really think you like it. Right?
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. It's very different.
Because, every time you find yourself here, I assume it's because you chose to come back, right?
Are you using a Severance line on me?
Oh, you got me. You got me. I've really been getting into Severance. I just finished season 2.
Okay.
Fascinating show. You're in season 1 still?
I'm almost finished season 1.
Okay.
And yes, it's a very interesting idea, separating your work life from your home life.
Right.
And to do that, I think teachers have a big challenge in doing that. A lot of people do. But to do it surgically puts a a whole new slant
a
on
whole
it.
new level, right?
Yes.
And we talk about work-life balance, and this is a way of making it happen, I guess, when you're not aware of what the work part of you is doing versus the home and play part of you. But the question is, should we? Right? Should we? And that's what I think this show kind of deals with. But I think we've got ourselves our theme
I think we
for
have
today's
the theme for
episode,
our podcast.
right? Severance and work-life balance. And should you have severance?
Yeah.
Is that in fact achievable? And do we want to pay the price to make it happen? Or maybe in the end we can't have it, right? So let's explore that in today's episode.
That would be pseudo-severance.
Yeah, right? I think that's maybe what we're going to see, right?
Yeah.
Maybe it's a combination of both. Is it pseudo-severance, or is there actual severance that can happen for yourself and your students? Is that reasonable? Does that make sense? So let's explore that as our theme today.
There we go.
There's that sound, Roy. Tell us what that sound means.
That's the sound of the nugget. That's the takeaway, something that you can use in the classroom.
Absolutely.
From what we're discussing today.
Yeah. And, we have to decide in the end about severance before we get to what the nugget could be. What do we mean by severance, and is it even possible?
Yes.
Right?
Well, it's really difficult in finding work-life balance, and that's because our lives and our work pressures are constantly changing.
They are.
So we make one sort of tweak or one direction, then all of a sudden you realize, next week is report cards.
Right.
Or, it's a school-based resource team meeting, and I have to do paperwork for that. So there's always something that's changing. So a complete separation, I agree with you. I don't think you can do that.
I don't think you can do that. And our focus is really going to be on the point that you get home, you should be able to not think about work too much.
Yes.
We're not really talking about getting to work and not thinking about home, because those could be some serious mental health issues you're dealing with, or other things. Maybe you're going through a divorce. There's all kinds of things that we're not in any way suggesting you need severance from that. Our focus here in talking about severance is to be able to leave whatever time you leave and really not think about work, right?
Yes.
Because that would be nice to be able to go home and have that work-life balance where you're on to the other part of your life. And sometimes that's busy. You're raising kids. You've got things to do, and you'd like to give that your complete attention. Or maybe you just want to go for a jog or go for a walk around Stanley Park and just take a breath and enjoy yourself and not think about work, right? So that's kind of the focus here in the golden nugget, right?
So in the nugget, we're going to try to separate the work life from the home life.
Yeah.
And I think...
And that's hard to do, though, right?
Yes.
It's a challenge. Like, as teachers, we're always thinking about work, right? And part of it is, that's why I think we should call it pseudo-severance, right? In no way are we saying, you must not think about work when you go home. Well, as teachers, that's impossible.
I think about work over the summertime, and I'm going through some stores, maybe thrifting, and I go, I could use that in the classroom.
Exactly. Or out for a hike and you see a rock with certain minerals in, and you go, there's my science lesson, right? So no, that's not part of the creative mind that teachers have that we're saying get rid of.
But I think that's it. Those are those creative moments, those inspirational moments. So having a complete shut off is going to prevent you from having those moments of those aha moments, those things where like, what a great idea I have.
Yeah.
And I agree. It's that creative spark that teachers have that spark kindles a fire.
It does, and that's part of the excitement of the job. But I know my kids always found it hard because I live in the community that I teach, and so do you, right? And I would often go, when they were younger, shopping at the grocery store on a Saturday, and they kind of would dread it because what should have been a half hour pop in, pop out, it could be an hour and a half later because I'm seeing parents, and it was all positive, but there were many little parent-teacher conferences on the spot.
Yes.
And, maybe I should have gone to a grocery store outside my community.
In a different community.
Right? But that's part of that severance, right? That I think hopefully we can strive for pseudo-severance, right?
Yeah.
Some way to separate your work life when you get home, and you can now focus on the other most important part of your life, which is also your family, yourself, those moments that bring joy.
Right. So in that nugget, let's give our listeners some ideas of what we're talking about.
Yeah.
So one thing would be to set a time each day, or maybe at least one day a week, set a time where you're saying, I'm leaving the school at this time, and actually
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah. Decide that day. You know you don't have any meetings. You're not meeting any parents. You don't have a staff meeting. You leave at that time that you set. That's actually earlier than you usually set. And go. Just go and leave, and don't bring marking home with you.
Keep your marking at school.
Yes,
And
yes.
if anything, at least don't bring it into your bedroom.
Right? Because that can get depressing, right?
Yes.
When you look at your desk at work and it's all covered in papers you have to work on. Then you go in your bedroom at home and there's all this work. You're not separating it. You're not having that severance or that pseudo severance we're talking about.
Right. And don't answer emails at home, especially at night.
Yeah.
In the morning before going to school. Maybe if that's needed.
Yeah.
If you could wait until you get to school, it all depends. But not at night before you go to bed. All it takes is one email that you're having a problem with, and it can ruin your sleep.
You're all rattled, right?
Evening.
Maybe it's an issue that you're trying to deal with a parent, and then suddenly you're on it at 10 at night, and it's going to not help you at all. And I know people that do answer emails all night long. They wake up in the middle of the night, right? And they're answering emails. And I would recommend that you, when you get home, don't look at your emails. And especially now, a lot of email programs will allow you not to respond at a certain time. You can have it set in your settings. You can have it, and even when you send an email, it can not be sent until it's the work time. Like, because I think if you send emails after work, and especially after the dinner hour, then people you're communicating with will get used to the fact that you communicate during those hours. And that just sets the idea that you're on 24/7.
Yes.
And people expect that. Well, you're not. Think of your hours. Think of your health. Think of that pseudo-severance we're talking about.
Use a different email for your personal connections. Don't use your work email.
Don't sign up for your Amazon account through your work email, right? Because then you're suddenly getting notifications on your work email that you then have to look at, right? Even with friends, don't communicate with your friends through your work email. Use your private email. That's private. Work is work, right? And I think it's important to keep those separate. And those are our suggestions, our nuggets for how we think you may be able to achieve what we call pseudo-severance.
What's that sound?
What's that sound?
That's the sound of the homework board.
Let's have a look.
Let's take a look.
No field trips this week. We've had quite a few. We have. But today it's about homework.
The thing you love so much.
I'm giving the big cheer for the homework. But as always, this is designed to be as easy and simple as possible, right? And to be helpful, not a hindrance.
Yes.
Right? So what are we thinking?
I could never convince my students of that. Wow. That's
look at it. You heard how
I wish I could have elaborated the way you did to my students. I think they would have been happier to do homework.
But you heard how I sounded when you first brought this up. I was not. Now look at me. I'm cheering away. So you've done something right.
All right.
Fantastic.
So on our homework board, we would like our listeners to set one goal for changing your work pattern.
Because we have ideas, but they might not work for you. And I know in life it's nothing more annoying than when someone says, "Here, you must do this," and it doesn't work for you.
It doesn't work
right?
for you.
So
you
maybe
have to do what works for you.
Maybe you can't leave every day at a certain time after school or even once a week. You've got to be there, and that's who you are. So we're not trying to say that.
So we would like our listeners to set one goal for changing your work-life pattern and then share it on our website.
Yeah, and if you need to have a diary to keep track of these goals, or you just sit down with a colleague and discuss some possible things you could both do to get home and not think about work, do that. But make it achievable. So often in life we set goals that are not achievable. And then, Roy, if you're like me, when you don't achieve those goals, you get down on yourself,
yes, you
right?
beat yourself up.
You do, and then you just give it up. You say, forget it, right? So make some goal that you think you can achieve that would be for you.
Right. Focusing on the positive impact that change will make.
Yeah, and maybe there's some of the nuggets we talked about. Maybe even it's just taking a work-free lunch. But we're not going to tell you anymore now. It's up to you to come up with some ideas and share them on stuntbrothers.ca as well. And set a goal, even if you don't share it with us, but set a goal for you, and we know you can do it. We believe in you, right? You can do it. And there's my favorite sound.
Yes, that's the sound of the detention hall. This is where we put an idea, a concept, or a person into the detention hall.
Yeah. So what are we doing today for Detention Hall?
Today, we're going to deal with people who use cliches to get people to solve their problems.
Right. Even for students, they often think students who just do things like suck it up, buttercup, right?
Yep. Get over it.
Right? Leave your baggage at the door. We've all heard those, as if we're supposed to suddenly get over it. Only Bob Newhart can do it as a psychiatrist. And I know he did this funny skit before he passed away where he played a psychiatrist again, and it was a 5-minute visit. You walk into his office, he puts out a sign, it says, "Get over it," and you're supposed to walk up cured. But the point is, if you could get over it, you would get over it. Even my dad used to say that often, right? Mm-hmm. I think he talked about his sister saying, she always thinks, why can't people just get over it nowadays? And he would say, if they could, they would. So it does not help. Cliches like that do not help.
Okay. And really what we want is we want to be able to listen to our colleagues and listen to our students and say, we can't solve your problem, but we're here to listen to you, and I am here for you, and I believe in you. And those are the things that can help promote that move towards letting something go.
Yeah, and supporting too. And for students, I think that certainly in the past, the point was you weren't supposed to bring anything from home to school. How could we really understand those students? It's about those connections we've talked about in previous episodes.
Yes.
How do we support them? How do we get them the services they need if we don't understand some of the things they do bring to school? So certainly we should not say, leave your baggage at the door.
That's right. So we're putting those people who use the cliches to get people to get over it into the detention hall.
Absolutely. Cliches do not fix trauma.
Oh, that's the sound of the rearview mirror.
That's when we look into our past and see where we came from and see how it shapes who we are today. So, what do you have for us today?
Well, I'm going to go back to my childhood experiences in elementary school.
Okay.
And
way back.
Okay. Well, it was fun, a fair bit back.
Okay.
And I remember my father working as in a factory, and the factory went out on strike, and the strike lasted a long time. We're talking over a year easily. And so there was a shortage of money in the house, and my mom and dad there was conflict because they were frustrated, which I really, being so young.
How old were you at this time?
I think I was maybe 5 or 6 years old.
Right, just starting school?
Just starting school.
Yeah.
So anyways, I remember being at school. And when you leave a home environment like that and you go to the classroom, the school was a place that was safe for me. But it's hard to get motivated to, do your printing.
Right.
Do those things that the teacher wants you to do when you're carrying around this big problem.
Yeah.
And I remember clearly looking at my report cards from that year, and the responses from my teacher were, Roy is a student that has potential, but is lazy and messy and unorganized and not motivated to be in school.
Because they expected you to have severance in those days, right? They weren't going to find out about your home life, right?
And my family would never have shared it with the teacher. I mean, there wasn't that connection there.
No.
But so now having that lens of going through that experience as a teacher, I always tried to strive to find opportunities to make my students feel comfortable.
Absolutely, yeah.
To see if I could get them the supports they needed, whether it was through our counselor, through our school-based resource team. But I use that experience because even as an adult, that still bothers me. Those are the comments that were used about me at a time when things in my world were very difficult.
Those little things do stay with you. It's amazing, right into the adult of your life and who you are. I remember when I was in grade 1, and it's not a major issue, but it stuck with me today. it was Thanksgiving, and we were supposed to write about what we did on our Thanksgiving. Now, I had a British mom and a German dad. We didn't do anything on Thanksgiving. It was not anything that we did, no special things. So that Monday or Tuesday, I guess, after the holiday, you're going to write about your Thanksgiving. So I didn't have anything to write, so I just wrote, yesterday was Thanksgiving. It was a holiday. Well, I got a teacher who got quite upset saying, you need to write about your Thanksgiving and all the turkey you had and all the dinner you had and all the people that came over. And I didn't have any of that.
We want you to lie.
Right, exactly. And I think I did. I think I just went back and I made a big lie about it and drew a picture of a turkey, right? But that teacher, who actually overall was a lovely, lovely woman, but she didn't make any attempt to understand that maybe the students in my class come from different backgrounds and different places. And that certainly stayed with me. And when I became a teacher, I always made sure I understood where everybody came from. And I did not expect them to leave their baggage at the door. And I had many students, and they're often the warmest moments when I think about, because I was there and I created a family in my classroom for the year. I found out about them and then got them the support and things that they needed to, help them through navigation of a life that is hard without adults who actually take the time to care about you.
Yes.
Right? And that's why I think it's important that we look in the rearview mirror and realize that when we talk about pseudo-severance, in many ways there are things that we were forced to have severance when we were younger in the past, and it didn't really help anyone and didn't help educate the child and help make them become the complete adult who is able to navigate this very, very complicated life. And I think that's a perfect place to end the episode. And that's the sound that tells us we've come to an end. And it's been wonderful. And to talk about severance and the show, but also talk about whether we can have severance. Realize at the end, I think we just came up with the idea of pseudo-severance, right?
Yes.
I think that was kind of where we're at.
And in today's episode, we really didn't practice severance.
No, because we're in my kitchen.
We're in your kitchen.
We're not in the studio.
We're not in the studio.
And it actually feels different.
It feels very different.
This episode doesn't feel like we have the work-life balance going on because, I'm looking around my kitchen and my house and looking outside, and I'm happy here, but this is home, not work. And podcasting has been a lot of fun, but I'm still treating it like a job. We go and do it, and it's separate. And today's episode feels different, and we'll see. If listeners, let us know if you feel there's a difference in the way we did today's episode. It might sound different for sure because we're not in the same studio with the best sound quality. The microphones and everything are great here, but we don't have the soundproofing of the studio. That right. Could make a difference. But just in terms of the way you approach the job when you feel that there's not a separation, not a severance, right?
That's right.
And hopefully we can all strive for pseudo-severance, but in no way think that you can have severance in life, right? That's not going to happen. This podcast is organic, taking shape with each episode. Building resiliency for teachers everywhere.
That sounds great.
And our website is stuntbrothers.ca.
That's stuntbrothers.ca.
We will chat again
after the bell.